The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 234. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a great woman on the show today. She is a singer, songwriter, and a music producer who is based in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm just excited to have her on and share her story with us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Paulina Vo. Paulina, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Sure. Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I can call myself a producer finally in the last couple of years. I've been doing music singing since I was like 3 or 4, writing since I was 8, which is ridiculous, and playing guitar since I was young as well. Yeah, and I live in Brooklyn now, kind of lived all over the place. I'm in my late 20s, 27, enjoying life.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think you're releasing a new album, right?
I released an album. I released an EP in February, but I am working on my next one right now. So
cool. Well, it looks like you got a lot on your plate right now, which is great, right? You're doing what you love. And
yes.
And what's your cultural background?
So my dad is Vietnamese and my mom's Cantonese, well, half Cantonese, but I'm mainly Vietnamese. Grew up, I speak the language and everything and love the food, of course. But yeah, that's primarily my background.
Awesome. I'm a big pho fan. I think it's fabulous. I just wanted to do a pho joke and put it in.
So, you just wanted to make sure you added that.
Yeah, I did. I'm not going to lie.
I won't lie. I just ate pho too. So that email we had earlier was over pho. So that worked out too.
Awesome.
Even better.
Awesome. All right. And Paulina, what's your favorite self-confidence quote?
So actually my favorite self-confidence quote was a quote that someone else used in another podcast I listened to. It was, if you can dream it, you can become it, which is amazing. But I actually, in the later years, I'm a huge fan of Sara Bareilles, and in one of her songs, during like the bridge, she sings like, it's about getting over a guy, gonna get over you. And it's the other side of someday, about how, being on that other side. So that's kind of carried me for a few years as well. Just kind of, it's the same concept, dream it, become it type of deal. But it's really carried me through.
I like that, the other side of someday. I mean, there's so many people out there who just like, someday I'm going to do this. Someday I'm going to do that. And, someday never comes. That's why it's totally important to just go on the other side and just take action. So, I really love that. It's the first time I've actually heard it. And, I just love it. So thanks for sharing that awesome quote. And
yeah,
in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
I would say, self-confidence is obviously about being comfortable in your skin and being, genuine, assured of who you are. I agree with all those things, but I think a big part of what has propelled my self-confidence, what I have of it, no, I'm kidding, what propelled me forward is just being self-aware, kind of like understanding who and where you are in the context of your world. I think that's incredibly important because then you know how to give and take, when to do so. And I think that's been a huge kind of path that I've started going down, which I think is really important.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And, I totally believe self-awareness is necessary. We got to be aware of who we are and what we're doing and what we're thinking so we can learn how to kind of change it, whether if it's like a negative thought, maybe we can change it faster into something positive. So great definition. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
So that's a lot, but I would say, honestly, something when I was younger, I actually was really not self-confident because I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. So being Asian was like a really big insecurity for me for a really long time. And I kind of regret that, like obviously everyone's unique and it's great. And it wasn't until I was probably like 16, 17, 18 that I finally like started embracing the culture again. I actually stopped speaking Vietnamese. I don't know if you speak your language, but that was like a big thing for me that I can't believe I like let go of that. But yeah, so that was different, right? I was kind of ashamed of my culture. I was kind of ashamed of not being like American enough. But then over the years, I think once I started embracing that, that's kind of when things changed. And I needed a lot of validation back then, and I don't really need that now. I do, but in a healthy amount. Yeah, I think that's what's really changed. Is it must have been that switch for me.
Awesome. And I totally know how you feel. I mean, I moved to Canada when I was 7, and being Asian in Canada, I mean, we're a little bit more multicultural, but still, like, it's still foreign, right? We're still foreign. We still, like, we don't have, like, blue eyes and blonde hair and,
Oh, yeah.
when I speak, I didn't feel like I was Asian, and then you walk by the mirror, like, oh my God, I am Asian, right?
I know.
But,
I know.
I totally love it. I love being Asian. I think, being an Asian person is, like, it's great. I'm not, like, saying all the other races are bad, but I just like who I am and proud of it now versus before when I was ashamed of it. And, what was that point in your life when you realized, you were that confident person? What was that aha moment?
Honestly, I originally thought it was when I moved to New York, which I think is a big part of it too. There's multiple steps to this. But I think, honestly, maybe realizing that it was okay to be Asian. I know this sounds ridiculous, but to be different, which I guess came when I was 18, but also when I moved to New York was also very important because it validated some of the things I had been feeling, which included being Asian. In New York, you can't really, you're everything and everyone is anything. So it was nice to kind of be in that true melting pot and like meeting new cultures, understanding new cultures, and kind of living together in a city that's like insane and amazing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, because of that realization, learning to accept yourself, especially, being Asian, what's your life been like now?
Understanding who I am, like in a room full of people, I'm definitely not as afraid to kind of be more honest. My sister says I've always been honest, but I think now I'm aware of my honesty in a way that kind of is like, hey, if we don't share the same opinion, that's okay. I think before I tried really hard to accommodate, and maybe that's part of my upbringing. But now it's more of like, hey, I have like tons of tattoos, and so when I like go see my family, I'm like, oh my God, are they going to yell at me for my tattoos? They don't. But things like that I think is helpful. But certainly just being more okay with yourself and just letting yourself be and being aware of who you are.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, nothing's more freeing than just being yourself, even if people might not agree with you because, you know what, you can't please everybody. So you might as well just be yourself. If you have tattoos like you mentioned, it's okay, right? And, the moment when you realize you're okay with who you are, that's when the magic happens. That's when you can attract the right things in your life. And, you just have that lightness when you just do things. So I don't know if that made sense, but yeah.
Totally.
Awesome. Thanks. And Paulina, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What'd be that one tip you would give to her?
Definitely listen to yourself and your experiences. Let kind of things happen. I mean, go on with your life, do great things, be a good person, but every decision you make, just understand why you made that decision. That's changed a lot of the stuff that I've just done in the past, and it's kind of just trusting and reflecting, I mean, it's really just understanding what you do and why you do it is, I think, very important. And adjusting when necessary. That sounds about right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I always believe sometimes you just got to let things happen naturally. And, when you do that, that's when actually the best things come out, when it just comes in a natural way. So thanks for sharing that. And if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, my official site, which kind of is the hub for everything, is just paulinavo.com. And I have a SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com/paulinavo. My Instagram is actually Vobot, so robot, but with a V. And I have a music page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/paulinavomusic.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Paulina, you can also head on over to the taoselfconfidence.com and search for Paulina's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really want to thank Paulina for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena. I really appreciate it. I love your show. It's great.
Awesome. Thank you. And, it was great having you on and share your story. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Sign up for our free membership site to get more amazing resources for self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.